Hello everyone, myself I am Divya, working as Assistant Professor in Marri Reddy Institute of Technology and Management from the Department of Chemistry. So I'm continuing the Environmental Sciences, the first unit, that is Ecosystem. So today is the last session of the first unit, Ecosystem. So in today's class I'm going to cover the topics bioaccumulation, biomagnification, ecosystem value, services, and carrying capacity. So the first one is bioaccumulation. So what is bioaccumulation? It is a gradual accumulation of substances such as pesticides and other chemical in an organism. So gradually accumulating the substances such as pesticides or any chemicals in any organism, we call it as bioaccumulation. So it occurs when an organism absorbs a substance at rate faster than that which substance is lost or eliminated by catabolism and excretion. Thus, the longer the objectal half-life of a toxic substance, greater the risk of chronic poisoning. Even if it is an environmental level, the toxic are not very high. So longer the biological half cycle or the toxic substances will be, the greater the risk of chronic poisoning. Next is the biomagnification. So biomagnification can be defined as it is the rise or increase in contaminated substances that is causing by the inoxidizing environment. The contaminants might be heavy metals such as mercury, arsenic, pesticides such as polychlorinated biophenyls and DDT. These substances are taken by the organism through the food they consume. So these substances will be taken as a food when they will be consuming. When the organism is in higher food chain, so we discussed earlier what are the food chains, like it starts from the producers and ends with the consumers. So when the organisms in the higher food chain feed on the organisms on the lower food chain containing these toxins, these toxin gets accumulated in the higher organisms. So if the toxins are present in lower food chain, and these lower food chains, when these are consumed by the higher food chains, the toxins also will be transferred from lower food chain to the higher food chain. So this is how the substances will be consumed by the organism through the food, as higher food chains will be feeding on the lower food chain. So biomagnification is nothing but it is a rise or a increase in a contaminated substances caused by a inoxidating environment. Effects of biomagnification. So we have many types of effects, like impact on human health and effects on reproduction and development of marine creatures. So impact on human health, how the biomagnification will be affecting the human health. Biomagnification makes the human more prone to cancer, kidney problems, liver failure, birth defects, and respiratory disorders and the heart diseases. So due to this biomagnification, as we feed on the lower food chains as a human, the toxics present in the lower food chains will be consumed by us as a human. So this biomagnification will be affecting the human health, as it causes the liver failure, like birth defects will be causing respiratory disorders and also the heart diseases, and it is prone to cancer. Next is the effect on reproduction and development of marine creatures. Marine creatures are nothing but the organisms which are present in the water. The toxic chemicals accumulate in the important organs of aquatic organisms. So these toxic chemicals are accumulating, contaminating the important organs of aquatic organisms that affect their reproduction, that will be affecting their reproduction and as well as development process. For example, shells of eggs of the seabirds are very thin that might get crushed by the birds themselves during the incubation. So if you observe the eggs of the shell of the eggs of the seabirds, they are very delicate, they are very thin, that can be damaged or broken by the birds itself during the process of incubation. The toxic chemicals, mercury, selenium, destroy the reproductive organs of aquatic creatures. So the next is the ecosystem value. Importance or worth of ecosystem to humans and the planet. So we have different types of values like ecological value, economic value, social and cultural value, and aesthetic value. So what is ecological value? It covers the biodiversity, nutrient cycling. Economic value, forest, fisheries, water and soil resources. Social and cultural values will be including recreation, tourism, traditional knowledge. Aesthetic values of beauty and inspiration from the nature. So these are the importance or the ecosystem values that impacts the humans and the planet. Next is the ecosystem services. The benefits human obtain from ecosystems. So what are the benefits we obtain from the ecosystem? So these are mainly classified into 4 types. So the first one is provisioning services. Second is regulating services. Third is supporting services. Fourth is cultural services. So what is provisioning services? What are the things come under provisioning services? So food, timber, water, medicines. This will be covered up in the provisional services. Regulating services are the climate control, food regulation, and disease control. So this will be covered up in the regulating services. Next, third one is the supporting services as soil formation, photosynthesis, and nutrient cycle. These are the supporting services. And the last is the cultural services, which is a recreation, spiritual enrichment, and education. So these 3 come under the cultural services. So these are the benefits that humans are obtaining from the ecosystem. Those are 4 like provisioning, regulating, supporting, and cultural. Next is the importance of ecosystem services. Whatever the services we have seen in the before slides, what are the importance of them? They will be maintaining environmental stability. So it sees that environmental stability is maintained, and it also support the human health and livelihood, help in climate regulation and disaster mitigation, essential for the sustainable development. So these are the importance of the services which are obtaining by the humans from the ecosystem. So the first is like environmental stability is maintaining, and it also supports our human health and climatic regulation and the disaster mitigation, and essential, it is mainly essential for the sustainable development. The final concept is a carrying capacity. So the concept of carrying capacity, definition comes here: the maximum number of individuals or population that an environment can support sustainably without degrading or without any destruction. So simply we call it as, like, definition of carrying capacity: the maximum number of individuals or the population that environment can support without any destruction. So this carrying capacity will be depending on availability of food, water, habitat, which are the three important things for every human being. So it is a food, water, and habitat. And waste assimilation capacity and environmental resistance, that means a climate, disease, or the space. Next is the factors affecting the carrying capacity. Factors affecting the carrying capacity. So the resources availability is the first factor, and technological development, consumption patterns, environmental degradation, and population growth. So these are the factors that are affecting the carrying capacity. Human impact on ecosystem and carrying capacity. So we have seen what is carrying capacity, what are the effects. Now we'll see what is the human impact on this carrying capacity. Deforestation and habitat loss and population. The impacts which humans are giving to the ecosystem. The first is like deforestation, cutting off trees in the forest, and also the habitat loss. Population, like we have air population, water pollution, and soil. Over exploitation of resource, like overusing of the resources. Urbanization and industrialization, and climate change. So these are the humans are giving impact on the carrying capacity, like deforestation, pollution like air, water, soil, over exploitation. Next is urbanization, like more number of cities, or the city, like places are converting into cities with a more industrialization, with a number of industries are establishing. And climatic change. Conclusion of this ecosystem. Ecosystem provides a valuable services essential for our life. Understanding ecosystem value help in policy making and resource management. So if we understand the purpose of this ecosystem, it will help us in policy making and also the resource management. Maintaining carrying capacity ensures the long-term ecological sustainability. So we know what is carrying capacity. If we maintain the carrying capacity properly, then we can ensure the long-term ecological sustainability. So these are the references. Thank you.